Friday is Forall Service Day. You will be able to get free legal information and talk to a lawyer one-on-one. And you can talk to them about any kind of thing, estate planning, to crime, to child custody, and much more. Today we're talking employment law with Ben Winikoff. He's an employment law attorney and is participating in Forall Service Day. Today, you get to ask him his questions, your questions to him one-on-one until about 5:45. Here's how you get your question directly to him. You're going to text that question. It's 336-379-5775. Remember, this is a text only, so please don't call. All right, so Ben, you are going to be one of the lawyers participating. For folks who have never heard of Forall Service Day, kind of give them a big picture overview.
Sure. This is one of North Carolina's largest pro bono events, and this is an opportunity for everyone in North Carolina to get free legal information without having to make an appointment anytime between 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. So please submit your information, make your calls, and talk to an attorney that day to get free legal information.
And so there's like lawyers all over the state, and each one has their own kind of like specific subject that they're going to talk about. So if you call in and that person is not well versed in it, they can switch you to someone who is.
You got it. So you call in, you give your practice area, and you're going to get filtered to, if you have an employment law question, you'll get filtered to an attorney like me who'll be able to answer your legal question and give you some legal information.
All right, so let's start with that. Let's just talk about employment at will. We hear that we are at an at-will state for workers and stuff like that. What does that actually mean?
So what that means is, absent an employment contract, you can be terminated for any reason or no reason, so long as it doesn't violate federal, state law, or public policy. All right, so this means even if you're doing a great job, you're doing the best job for your employer, there doesn't have to be a reason for your employer to terminate you.
So very often we get calls or emails from people saying, you know, he didn't even give me a reason, the boss didn't give me a reason. They don't have to give you a reason for that.
Correct.
Okay, let's talk about what you just said about as long as it doesn't violate federal or state law. So let's talk about the federal law when it comes to being fired or the firing laws there. What does that cover?
Sure. So there are a variety of federal laws that protect you in the workplace, but one of the primary ones is the Civil Rights Act, which prohibits terminations based on race, sex, color, national origin, and religion. And we have expanded upon those rights to protect you based on age, disability, and even genetic information. So if you have been terminated because of one of these protected characteristics, you have the ability to seek a wrongful termination action.
Right, and you have to file that complaint within 180 days. What types of things would you suggest people have to bring to a lawyer if they think that they have a case?
Absolutely, documents, right? You know, if you have emails, if you have performance evaluations, right? Anything that looks at your success with the company, and then anything that points to comments or emails or text messages that show that there was discrimination taking place, whether they're jokes, whether they're comments, derogatory comments based on your age or your gender, anything like that would be information that an attorney would need to review to help give you an opinion on your case.
Okay, good to know. All right, let's talk about the state law when it comes to termination and what the protections are there.
So in addition to federal law, the state of North Carolina has passed additional protections in the workplace. And a lot of these are based on protected activities, such as you can't be retaliated against for filing a workers' compensation claim. You can't be retaliated against for filing a complaint with the Department of Labor over unpaid wages, or with OSHA for unsafe working conditions, or even if you have to attend court over domestic violence order. Those are kind of protected activities that you can't be retaliated against for.
Okay. And so when it comes to public policy and termination, are there other things that we should know?
That's right. So North Carolina also has a catch-all in the workplace, which is you also can't be discharged in violation of public policy. Well, what's the public policy of North Carolina? And those are the statutes of North Carolina. So were you discharged because your employer asked you to violate a safety statute and you refused? Were you discharged because your employer asked you to violate a criminal statute or a fraud reporting statute? So in addition to the anti-discrimination and anti-retaliation laws, we also have a public policy in North Carolina that prevents discharges that would violate the public policy of North Carolina.
Okay, gotcha. So if your boss says, hey, I know that this is the law that we're supposed to report this, this, or this, but just don't do that right now, hold off for 30 days or something like that, that's something.
That's right. And you say, I can't do that, that violates the law, then he says, or she says, get out of here, you would have a claim for wrongful discharge.
Okay. All right. So we are talking employment law, all things employment law. What we want you to do is text us your question, 336-379-5775. We're going to be right back in just a few minutes.